Hello, welcome to my second year-end review for 2017. Hope everybody had an amazing new year. Hope everyone had a great 2017. Now this is where I'm just going to recap some of my own personal life events and goals and thoughts and some things I enjoyed throughout the year for both for my own personal kind of logging and just in case you guys were interested. At the end of that segment, I'm also going to include a studio room tour for those that want to stick around. So coming off of last year's goals where I wanted to attend more conventions and get into that scene a bit more, I definitely succeeded in that. I attended and even started tabling at Spectrum this year for my first time. That was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people, and then again at the end of the year I attended Eluxicon, which was just a blast. I didn't table there, but I certainly met the same crowd and enjoyed myself as a guest. And I'm definitely looking forward to going back. This year I'm going to probably try to at least attend CTNX come at the end of the year. It's a totally different vibe and scene there, and I just want to keep the circuits well-rounded. So hope to see some of you there as well. The group has grown a lot. We've even expanded to the Discord, which that's kind of where I've been spending more of my time, not so much on the actual Google group for the brush sauce. But so you guys should just check all the links under my videos to come join us there. A great group of people, and I'm happy for those of you that have stepped up and that help and run and push the community forward. It's exactly what I've always wanted to do with this sort of thing. So I did a lot of images this year, and I always kind of share my top 5. You can see them kind of on screen now. Let me find them. Yeah, I always like to share my top 5 images for the year. So this one was for a makeup company. It's a steampunk image. I was out of 3D at the time, and it made me kind of go back to my roots, just using kind of old traditional 2D techniques, to the core, and make kind of vastly kind of complex images. So yeah, it was a lot of fun making that. I definitely enjoyed it. And it's a genre I haven't exactly kind of touched upon in a few years anyway. So yeah, it was a blast. My second favorite was an example I created for my design students in class, where I just kind of created another a fantasy-scape for Skies of the Arcadia. It's as impractical as this is, but it's a sky bar up in like an asteroid field on a planet with a lot of floating asteroids. Which kind of led me to something else that I was really happy and proud that I kind of did at the beginning of the year. Was leading up to Breath of the Wild, I did a bit of an art stress test for myself where I tried to do a Zelda piece a week and up to release of the game, and I started that about 6 weeks prior to the game, and so this one was like number 3 or so. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to still go back and fix a lot of those up because they are a bit on the rush side, given that I just kind of took 4 or 5 days to do each of them, kind of blitzed through them, but it was a lot of fun. And now that I know that if I need to like work really quickly, that I can, and I have techniques, and so I did learn a little bit about that, and I integrated slight elements of 3D to each of them where necessary. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It helped me like not get too attached and committed to like ideas, and just kind of push through them and kind of just go with the flow a little bit. I tend to overplan on a lot of things. So yeah, it let me embrace part of my artistic side that I don't normally get to tap into, which is kind of creating fan art. I never get around to doing much of that at all these days. So it was pure joy to go back and to do that. And hopefully for this year I can do more. I can make time to do more fan arts, because I'm certainly passionate about the games and the and cinema, the entertainment industry as a whole, comic books even. I love it all. So now for my fourth favorite image this year was a design example from my architecture class, and it was a lot of fun. It's still not quite done. I'm tweaking it a bit. That's why you won't find a lot of these online, because I tend to go back and fuss with them before I ever kind of publicly put them out there too much. But yeah, it's getting there. Little balancing issues to do, but I enjoyed it. It's a fun little fantasy city that I'm kind of been working on and off of for a while now. I've done various other iterations and versions of it, but yeah, it's cool. I was like waterfall kind of cities, mega cities in a fantasy setting. A lot of fun. And then this example again from my architecture class. It was cool to go back and do something purely rooted in classic sci-fi. So I feel like this really rounded out my genres this year in terms of my top 5. You know, fantasy, steampunk, sci-fi, fan art. You know, I've done a little bit of everything, and these are my favorites, you know, from each category. So it's a lot of fun. I learned this year, a lot of things I didn't post is I did a lot of like board game type art too, and a lot of what I did was really quick work where I just busted out. You want to get down, bud? He has to get down. Was a lot of quick turnaround, so I could do, you know, characters and creature designs, you know, within a few hours, and really kind of get them into a pipeline sort of workflow and kind of crank them out assembly line style. But yeah, I'll probably post a lot of the stuff I did this year actually in 2018. Now, I did have a couple lists of other things. Part of one of my other goals was I wanted to grow some social media stuff this year, which I think I had some hit and misses in terms of that. It was all growth, of course, but like on Instagram, for example, I grew that by about 800 followers, and that's with like 250 posts. Not all of them art related, of course, but I mean, I don't have anything by the year to compare these numbers to, since I've never kept track before. Because I don't participate and I don't engage on social media to make numbers or to get like a real high. I don't do it purely for that. I just do it because I like to share and engage with an audience, which is, you know, you guys, and why I like to do YouTube as well. But yeah, 800 on Instagram, 5,000 on my YouTube, which I guess is great since it's been about 5 or 6 years since I've done this, so it evens out to I've done about 5,000 per year if I break it down that way. I mean, I'll take it. Again, it would be great if it was even more, but yeah, it's 5,000. Oh, it's a good thing. ArtStation was great. I doubled that. I went from like 1,500 to about 3,000 followers, and I didn't post that much on there. I want to post even more this year, so maybe that could be another goal, is to get more art on ArtStation, more posts than I did you know, this upcoming year. So yeah, there's looking forward to that. Yeah, how did you guys do this year? Was it one of your goals to grow your audiences and your followers? How well have you been doing? Have you employed a new strategy, you know, this year that's helped? I've been trying to, you know, research and look up a few things. I think I'm just really bad at it. I don't know. I gotta spend more time in that that department, anyways. So now, in terms of like my life experiences or trips that I did, you know, a lot of things came up, but ultimately, I balance, you know, family trips with the convention trip circuit. You can't do too much of the other, I feel. So I ended up taking, me and my wife and my family, actually, we took a shorter trip up to Maine and went to the national park up there, the Arcadia National Park, which is just a very, very massive, you know, coastal scenic area. I don't know how to put it into any kind of better words, but it's absolutely beautiful. You know, lots of hills, lots of shores, rocky coastlines. It was very, very nice and relaxing. Of course, having the family there, that made it all the better. It was just, I just remember the air, you know, driving up the mountains at sunset, seeing for miles all the island chains. It was just, it was great. Nothing I hadn't really, like, it wasn't anything on the scale of Hawaii or anything, or the experience I did there, but it was something fairly local, and it was definitely, you know, definitely a sight to behold. Now, I saw a lot of movies this year. I'm not going to do like a top 5 or top 10 or anything, but I do want to just make mention and maybe say something about my favorite films that I saw this year. Recently, of course, I'd have to go with Star Wars Episode 8. I absolutely loved it. It was my second favorite now, compared to Empire. And, you know, a lot of people bitching online about it. Whatever, that's your deal. A lot of, like, complaints is like, well, if you're a lot of casual movie goers liked it, a lot of longtime fans didn't like it. Well, I'm a longtime fan as anybody of the movies. I absolutely loved it. So what kind of line on the line of the fan base are you with Star Wars? Let me know about that. I don't want to start an argument with you in the comments, but I definitely love people's opinions. Wonder Woman, that was great. This has been a year for superhero movies for me, and it sucks because, like, it seems sometimes only like the big superhero movies, the big, you know, blockbusters even the Michael Bay shit like Transformers tends to be box office successes, because that, like, you see movies like Blade Runner, which might be my overall favorite movie this year, Blade Runner 2049, and it, like, it was kind of, I think it made its money back, but it was kind of like a box office bomb. It reviewed well, but people just didn't see it, which sucks, because it's like weirder, like more kind of niche sci-fi films like that. In Valerian, which me and my wife loved as well. A lot of reviewers didn't like. A lot of people didn't see it, I don't think, but we really did enjoy it. It was a great movie, a lot of fun. Thor Ragnarok, one of the funniest movies of the year. That and Guardians 2. Again, both superhero movies, both kind of sci-fi, but really freaking great. I loved the heck out of those movies. And then there was kind of Baby Driver, which was also, I think, a notable mention for myself personally. I didn't get to see the, the moving water stuff. I forgot what it was called. The movie with the fish man. I still want to see that. I haven't got to yet. So I did play a handful of games this year, and I did have a lot of favorites for those too. Persona 5 probably took up a lot of my year, given its length. I think it was way too long. And I'm back. I had to let the dog out. He was getting antsy, as you probably heard. Anyways, Persona 5, great game, just way too long. It took me like over 100 hours. That's just long for me these days, given my time. Breath of the Wild, as I mentioned earlier in the video, came out at the beginning of the year. Probably my favorite game of the year. Really fantastic. I was absolutely addicted to that for a while. Horizon Zero Dawn, which is funny because it's another kind of open world, post-apocalyptic future type game, but it's absolutely great. Really impressive. I've been stunned the whole way kind of playing that game, which is another, and then it leads us to another one, Nier Automata, which is another amazing action world, quasi-open world, post-apocalyptic future game, but it was absolutely fantastic. I've never seen narrative done in a way that game handles it. Like, a lot of people rave about Metal Gear and Hideo Kojima and stuff, but like, for those of you that like that kind of type of storytelling and uniqueness to it, play Nier. He's doing Yoko Taro, I think, is the director for that. He's doing things that Kojima hasn't even done, and breaks fourth wall and does all kinds of beautiful narrative-based things. And then I liked Ys 8. I'm playing that on the Vita. Great little game. It's just simple, and it's a lot of fun. My last favorite, honorable mention would be Sonic Mania. I think I almost went, broke into tears of joy of just pure nostalgia. Pure nostalgia as I played that. Sorry, this might be a little choppy because I'm getting over sickness and I break into like these coughing spells. I'm just editing those out. But Sonic Mania, absolutely amazing. Enjoyed the hell out of it. So, again, I want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite film or movie, this year? Maybe, was it on my list? Was it not on this list? Do you recommend me checking it out? I'm always open to anything, so definitely let me know. In terms of goals for next year, I want to work on more personal work next year. I do spend a lot of time on making YouTube videos and lessons and, of course, doing things for students and everything. They've always come first. But it's like, I need to find a way to make time to put out a lot of my own art. My other goal this year, I want to read more graphic novels. I rarely set up time for that. I've basically just gone through the epic of the Nausicaa from Miyazaki, which is great. But I've ordered a handful. I'm gonna do my next video. One of my next videos will be me unboxing a handful of art book related things I ordered, and I'll kind of show and talk about that. I think that'd be fun. And then I want to have the first draft of my art book done, for the end of the year. At least something that I can have fairly fleshed out, and it'll be like kind of like the textbook to a lot of my design class. I think it'll be on environment design, because there's not a lot of like art books like how to design specific like environments and things like that, or how to apply design itself to image creating, because a lot of what I do talk about on this channel is design based, and that's just kind of happened as I got to be the teacher, at CGMA and stuff, teaching all the design classes. So my design skills, I think personally, have increased a lot this year, and I have a lot of notes and a lot of examples a lot of texts and things I've wrote, you know, for those of you that have been in my class. So I want to compile it all, put it in a nice order, and make a textbook. And maybe it could be a download, maybe it'll be, you know, goal-wise, be have a physical version if I can find a publisher. But yeah, that's something I definitely want to work towards this year. The other only new things that I want to mention before I do the studio tour this year would be I got a Cintiq finally, which is here in front of me, which is great. My first tablet upgrade in like 10 years. Love it. And I got like a NAS system for like my hard drives. I back everything up twice, and it's all linked. All my computers are, which is really great investment. But yeah, besides that, everything's been great. I want to know, again, from you guys, what is your goals artistically and stuff for next year? What did you learn this year, and what was your favorite movies or games? If you could give me like those 3 or 4 things in the comments, I definitely would love to hear from you. And so, lastly, my other big life milestone this year was having my first baby, my little daughter, Luna. Yeah, so that's changed how I do and think about everything. But she's quite the nice little bundle, haven't you? And yeah, I absolutely love it, but I'm learning a lot, and it's, of course, stressful for me being, you know, working at home and trying to maintain a sort of normal schedule and adult life. But anyways, I wanted to introduce her here. And yeah, how many of you guys out there are artists working at home that are also parents? I've talked with and already connected with a few of you on that note, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic. Now here's the room tour. So as a bit of a disclaimer before I get into this tour video, I've never done one of these for a few reasons. Personally, the lighting down here, since it is a basement, it is always garbage. It makes it kind of hard to see things right. And secondly, I don't have a portable mic, and I'm only shooting this with my camera phone. I don't have a nice portable video recorder of any sort. So again, the video quality will be, you know, expected accordingly. So just keep that in mind. I have my computer set up in the corner with a lot of shelves built up over it, where I like to store a lot of my personal collectibles and things to keep me inspired and motivated throughout the workday. The left monitor is my iMac 27-inch, which is about 3 to 4 years old now. There's the Cintiq 27-inch in the middle, and I have a third monitor with the Yeti mic that is also hooked up to my PC, which I just use at this time for 3D stuff. Now, I picked up the L-shaped wooden desk on Craigslist. It was dirt cheap. I have this Guild Wars 2, like it's kind of like an aluminum, it's really thick sheet. It was from a game store. I took it home. I use it kind of as a mat. Now, I have an actual traditional art desk here that I used to use until I just expanded beyond my reach with the computer space. Above it, again, I just have various collectibles of Final Fantasy VIII box set of figures, of Final Fantasy VII, some Killzone ones. I keep a picture of my father, my grandfather, and I working in the industrial shop from back in the day. Sonic statue is a huge fan, and some of my other favorite gaming collectibles: Star Fox Kids, God of War, Half-Life 2 box, and then, you know, a whole bunch of Zelda and other kind of figure. That guy's hard to see because of the bloom in the window, but it's the songbird from BioShock. And yeah, just a whole lot of Zelda stuff. I love Zelda. I just received these the Hero Champions amiibos for Christmas, so they got their own little shelf for the time being. Of course, with Final Fantasy VIII Wall Scroll, I've had for about as long as the game's been out, so maybe 17, 18 years. And then from this great artist, Jake Murray, he did some nice traditional paintings of my favorite game, which you're seeing a lot of glare in there, but Xenogears, he hand-painted them, which is awesome. Awesome prints. So directly behind my desk, I have this narrow bookcase that I keep a lot of my favorite books on, and some other things, like the Superboy, the portable Super Nintendo, and then a lot of art ofs like Star Wars, Disney's Atlantis, Big Hero 6, The Hobbit, Sparse Book Structurer, Yoshitaka Amano painted works. And then of course I have like Daniel Leask's World War Saga, a whole bunch of hardcover strategy guides that I collect, and then a bunch of art from video games stuff, and awesome books like James Reynolds' Trail Dust book. Great, beautiful Western paintings. Bravely Default, a whole bunch of little games in there, Assassin's Creed, World of Warcraft, and then on the bottom shelf, some Andrew Loomis books, Anatomy books, a lot of Art of Halo books, Uncharted, great stuff. Now to the right of my shelf, or actually these are some of my favorite little finds. I have these nice little banners from my detour from my games that I put up on the wood paneling. I'm still kind of sectioning this area off over here. I gotta see, it's just it's clutter. But yeah, this is where I keep a lot of my games currently right now. A few boxes from my old systems. I got a dedicated Dreamcast shelf right now, and then PS3 games, PS4. Then I keep my DS and 3DS games, as well as two of my older Game Boys. I keep on stands there that that are kind of more or less retired, but I still love them. Then I have two solid shelves of PS2 games, which are nice treasures to me as well. And then on the bottom shelf, I just have lots of old strategy guides from back in the day before the internet and we got stuck on games. These shelves I got from IKEA. They're fairly affordable. And then I have a bunch of random things that fit in the middle section, which is kind of pushed back a little bit. Some PS4 games, some box PC games, which I don't have that much of. And that leads to the right side of the shelf unit, which I have a whole shelf at this point anyway for my Vita stuff. I love the Vita. A lot of beautiful box set RPGs. And then below that I have my old Sega Genesis or Mega Drive collection, which it's not that big, but I got a lot of my favorite games. It's hard to justify the price of a lot of these older games now that they're going up. Most of these I just pick up at the flea market, which is down the road, just for really cheap. Again, my small, very modest Sega CD collection and my Sega Saturn games, which is probably some of my most favorite gems out of my entire lot. And then of course a random little shelf I just have things stored on, like the PSP games, and then a whole bunch of strategy guides. Now to the right of that is my actual TV setup, my small couch, which I take small quick naps on sometimes, and then some more a display case with some corner games. And yeah, I have an old school retro tube TV hooked up with a lot of my old consoles, like the Sega CD and Genesis, the Nintendo 64, PS2 and PS1s. Then over here underneath my main TV, the HD TV, I have the 360 and the PS3 above that. That's the good PS3 that actually plays PS1, 2, and 3 games. So that's a great model I have. The PS4, which I probably play the most right now. My Sega Saturn with the enhancement flash meg cart, that action replay cart that lets me play the Japanese games, and I can back them up. The modest little Dreamcast, the Halo edition of and my Xbox One, which I don't play that often, but still solid. The Wii and the Super Nintendo, which I had some Mystical Ninja Goemon, and then this is the shelf unit itself comes stock from IKEA, but I've modified it heavily at this point. I've added a couple extra shelves and built into it just to kind of fit my personal space. But I put some of my favorite statues in collectibles near it, like the Ezio, Lara Croft, some Breath of the Wild amiibo guys, some awesome boxed PS1 RPGs, which I love, and just some more of my other collectibles that I've got. My very original NES with from back in the 80s, and then a little Mario Donkey Kong, Sonic shelf, and I have a dedicated Suikoden shelf, which is one of my favorite RPG series, and then a few other various collectibles like my VHS of Final Fantasy VII promo video, a few soundtracks, and a Chrono Cross clock. Now in my display case itself, I have on top the Master Chief helmet, a A3 Master Chief itself, which you can kind of see reflection of me now, but if I open this stuff up, you'll get a better look at a lot of the nice little details in that guy. He's one of my favorites. I got Geralt from The Witcher 3 here, slaying a griffin. Two of my prize games, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Snatcher, Sega CD, and then a nice Max Payne statue from my good friend over at Rockstar. Now, I have the Zelda Shield, of course, a bunch of Witcher statues, the sorceress is there, and his daughter and everything. I read some OG Xbox games and 360. This whole unit here is basically the Xbox shelf. I love the original Xbox and the 360 itself. Very good. And then so we got the Cosmos and Sephiroth, a couple FF7 figurines with a nice picture of Chrono Trigger, probably my favorite game, and just some Nintendo stuff like Wii and Wii U, my Super Nintendo stuff, which is, yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's just too. I'm just really sad about retro gaming right now because they cost so much to buy. I usually just do emulation and stuff now. Game Boy Advance and GameCube. And then, of course, that would bring us back over to this part of my office, which I work on all day. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed a little overview of my workspace.